welcome to Professor. A very warm welcome, sir, to this session, to the final day of the session for today. Professor Satapathy has been the former director of ICSSR NERC, was also associated with the Northeastern Hill University at Shillong. He was a professor in the Department of Political Science. And right of now, today, sir is going to deliberate on a very, very significant topic, that is governance and development. So, sir, the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I will speak about human development and governance. Keeping in view of that, because already as it is the last day of your workshop, and in view of that so many previous speakers also must have highlighted about development. So I will talk about human development to be very specific, and there the issue of governance. Actually, perhaps I have to speak for nearly half an hour or so, and because after that your presentation will start, that part will take up afterward. Just I'll try to, because in half an hour I'll try to just have an overview of the whole thing. That's what we can do. See, the issue of development, it's a very age-old idea or concept, because in literal sense, development, that is the part of nature, is a natural process, in fact, in which there is a development everything, because that is how generally this issue of time and space, they condition the nature of development. As you know, the time cannot be regressive. Time cannot go back. It marches forward. And from there, generally, that issue of development came. So that means whatever we are at present, we need to move further. We need to go ahead, in fact. So from that perspective, the issue of development, especially from academic point of view, it is very significant, because in every development, in every society, development is more or less the stated or unstated goal. Without that, the society cannot exist, in fact, or it will be a sterile society. So that's why it is important. But the issue is, previously issue was connected with, it was related to the state only. The development in the state and development of the state. These were very significant things, because if supposing per capita income grows, or if supposing that there will be more, you can say that affluence, more, you can say more prosperity. So then we consider that it's a developed state. And that's how generally, because the structuralists and neoliberals, they discussed development from their respective point of view. Structuralists, they gave too much of importance to the state, because if a state development, people living within the state, they will development. And they correlated development with growth. If supposing your GDP is having this many percentage, then definitely we will call that it's a very progressive, it's a very advancing state. But it was countered by Marxists, as all of you know, and I'm not going into different theorists. and different thinkers. I am not going to that because due to shortage of time, it will not be possible. Just I am speaking about only in general about the issue of development. Then we will come to governance. Then ultimately what happened? The Marxists generally they countered. It countered because the state, as you know, that it is basically the capital state means basically capitalist state, in which the state most of the time is in the control of this bourgeoisie class. So naturally, any development that takes place, it benefits only these capitalists, and workers, they continue to suffer. Not only they continue, but their condition becomes worse. So that was the Marxist argument. He was telling that, yes, development only will be possible when there will be no state. The true development is possible when in the final stage of Marxian stages of communism. So state and development, they are antithetical to each other, because state, so long as state will be there, common people will continue to suffer. They will be exploited by those so-called crafty bourgeoisie class. So these two theories, which were very prominent for a long time, especially till 1970s, 80s, late 80s. So that was the dominant ideas, and there was the continuous clash between these Marxists and you can say that Marxists and liberals, and they try to give their respective arguments. And structuralists, they say that no, state plays a very central role in any development, because individual is incapable of doing any developmental work. Supposing constructing a road, individual will not be able to do that, because that's a common road. So that's why for this common benefit, so the state has to be there. And in view of that, in between, in fact, welfare state theory came into existence after Second World War period. As we have seen, even those conservative states also, even those radical rightist states also, they adopted this welfare model, because this welfare model, in fact, speaks about how, to what extent that the state will interfere in the public development or public good. And for the public good, it will not be unjustified to encroach to some extent or temporarily in the affairs of individuals. So the state can interfere justifiably, reasonably in the affairs of the individual. They can restrict the freedom of the individual to the extent that it benefits common masses, common people. Public, actually, they need to be benefited by these things. So this welfare model, in fact, America, Britain, all these Western or even European states also, they adopted this welfare model. And as a result of that, we found that by 1960s and 70s, all the states, they became the total state. I'm using this word total in a very specific way, from a specific perspective, because total state means the state had long arm to encroach into the private affairs of the individual even. The states became so powerful in the name of common welfare or common development. The state became so powerful that they can interfere in the personal and private affairs of the individual also. And that was a very, very, you can say, very matter of concern for the intellectuals and policymakers as well. So how to contain this powerful state? How to control these ever expanding authorities of the state? As you know, that state, especially armed with legal sanction or legal, I can say that legitimacy. So the state became so powerful. So how to check the misuse of the power of the state? And as a result of that, neoliberalism came, as you know, after the collapse of Soviet Union and especially collapse of Berlin Wall, and that new era of neoliberalism started. People, they started speaking about privatization, liberalization, all those things, globalization, all these things. They started talking about it, and as a result of that, the centrality of the state was replaced by the centrality of the market. So when the centrality of the market came, it's not that actually the state was useless. It's not that the state was a very weak state. No, politically the state remained the same powerful state. Yes, economically, it only abdicated its power or authority to the market. So market became the facilitator. It is because of certain reasons that I will not again go into the detail. As you know, that globalization was in fact the multinational companies which made inroads into that domestic market or national market in different countries. So naturally, they were backed by some political powers also, and especially in advanced and developed countries. So their government generally tried to put pressure on these third world countries or the weaker countries, how to open their market to these multinational companies so that they can continue their exploitation. So these things started, and as a result of that, so this was people, they again, intellectuals also, they started talking about which one is better. So whether the state-centric development was better or market-centric development is better. You see, in market-centric development, what happened? Because market will not think about any development unless its interest motive is not suitable, because the market will invest in some public development when only it suits its purpose. For example, construction of road. Yes, market or supposing these companies, they will say that, okay, we will construct the road, because by which the transportation of their goods and goods that will be facilitated. So like that, so this market-centric development was to a great extent became lopsided development. Most of the time it is claimed that the state regulates or state forces the market to do some developmental activity. As you know that corporate social responsibilities which are being discussed, you must have also been told by other speakers that corporate social responsibilities that is there. See, all these things are, I will say that these things have their own limitations. Very strong limitations they have, because these corporate social responsibilities very often, most often than not, it is being ignored, violated, or even twisted to their advantages. And ultimately, as a result of that, the development that we wanted, in fact, is a I can say that lopsided development, or you can say that those developments which are supposing in some sectors where multinational companies or even these market forces, they find that it is good for us to concentrate. For example, you think about the education. All of us, we belong to this education. You must be think that education is one sector in which most of the, you must be seeing that all these big companies, they try to invest and they try to have their own universities with their own curriculum, curricular structure. So those things, they do it. So why they spend on education? It's not that actually they have very noble intention, as a result of which they are spending so much of money in the university. See, they want actually skilled workforce, and the skilled workforce only will be possible to suit their business interest. Accordingly, their course structure will be framed. As a result of that, they will also try to see that these market forces serves the purpose of those industrialists. So similar is the case. Any sector that you think of, can you tell me any sector in which companies, they are investing money from which directly or indirectly they are not being benefited? Nothing. So as a result of that, it's not the development in the hands of the market is not a holistic development. It's not a balanced development. It's not a sustainable development. I'm not going to again talk about sustainable development, because sustainable development, again, it's a very lengthy discussion that I'll not, must have been told by some of the teachers. That's why I'm not going to again touch upon that. Only I can say that if you leave development to the market, it will be difficult to think about sustainable development, because they never think about tomorrow, they think about today. How much I am extracting by mutilating nature, by exploiting nature. So because I need to maximize my profit, so that is my sole interest. So this is how generally, because see, the nature, the Mother Earth has given so much to us to sustain for thousands and thousands of years. But it's we people only, it depends upon us how we are using it. So that's why, so this market forces basically, they don't think about sustainable development or holistic or balanced development. That development becomes a very jaundiced development, or you can say that lopsided development. But while I'm discussing about all these things, one thing we need to recognize, that development for whom? Who are the stakeholders? And why this development we are speaking about by sidelining the object, the main target is the people only. All these developments, they will be futile without the development of the people. So from state-centric development or market-centric development, the focus, in fact, by some people like Amartya Sen and others, so it was shifted to human development. Of course, there are many human development advocates are there. Even United Nations also has talked about human development. So their argument is that if state develops, individual not necessarily develops. It's not that a state is rich, but its people are poor. There are many instances. And at the same time, we have seen there are countries in which, like India, where people are rich, not all, of course, I'm telling, people are rich, but the country is poor. And why I'm arguing this? Some people, if you find that, I think perhaps maximum number of billionaires, if not, if India is not at the top, maybe number 2 or number 3 at the most. But still people, they are struggling for their basic needs. Because if our state is, if our people are so developed, why we are giving this so much of freebies, 1 rupee rice, 5 rupee meals, all these things. Why? Because it means that large chunk of our population, they still need support for their basic existence. So, from state-centric development to individual-centric development, few, you can say that intellectuals in late 90s and early 21st century, people, they started thinking about, so if we are thinking about development, we have to think about our main target. The development is meant for the people only. So if people will not develop, so the country cannot develop or the state cannot develop. And again, there were various versions of human development. Some people, they gave priority to the development, means economic development. So there should be material well-being of the people. People, they should have adequate resources. They must have food to eat, clothes to wear, shelter to stay, and at the same time, they should have decent amount of money also to spend in the market. These theorists, again, I'll say that this is in fact neoliberals. They say that market only can be strong if there will be consumption, if there will be more consumption. And in order to increase the consumption, you have to give purchasing power to the people. Unless you give them money, how will they spend there in the market? And how can you give them money? You can give them money in 2 major ways. One is that you give them employment, they will earn money and spend there in the market. And the second one, which is going on especially in this in a country like ours, through you can simply give them money through different indirect ways. You can say that this is you can bribe them, or you can in different schemes are there. There are so many schemes by different state governments as well as central government also. So you can give them through these schemes, just to give them money so that they will also be able to spend there in the market. The second method is very dangerous method, and our politicians across all political parties, of course, so they don't realize its long-term consequence. I still remember that in America, when there was a recession in 1930s, after the First World War, so at that time, American economists, they suggested you tell, so when they were in grave crisis, so economists came forward to give the solution. They told that you tell people to dig the trenches and tell them to fill it up also. Government told them, so what nonsense it is? Why will they, not for nothing, why will they dig the trenches and again they will fill it up? Then these people, they suggested that because people, they will realize that they are getting this money for their labor. They are getting the wage for their labor. If you will give like that, like during election time, as you know that how people generally they spend money for every family or even for every village, like that they spend money. So this is highly uneconomic. I will get money by sitting at home. That is highly uneconomic. That's why, so they gave this suggestion. If they will dig up the trench and they will again fill it up, two benefits will be there. This land will be fertile, and also the people, they will know that we are getting this money, this as our wage, because we spent put some labor in that, and because of that we are getting that. So that is how generally the development takes place. But again, I will not go into details about all these things. In human development, there are again various approaches. I will only talk about, because we don't have too much of time. So I will only talk about the capability approach. Capability approach speaks about how, to what extent people themselves will be capable of earning money. If people are skilled, if I still remember maybe 25 years back, there was a plane crash, some Lockheed or some actually South Korean plane crash was there. Just I forgot about the name of the plane. So then the company was supposed to give them this compensation. I'm telling about more than 25 years, I think. Yeah, more than 25 years back. So when it was there, then how will you give them compensation? Because you cannot give uniformly. And it was found that the Japanese national who had died, they got the highest, each individual was given highest compensation. And these third world countries, including India, they were given very less compensation. And it was because of the value of human life according to them. What I'm telling is that if people are capable, if people are skilled, if people are able to do some various things, naturally, the human value or the value of human life actually will be more. You don't have to give them all these freebies. You don't have to give them this cheap popularity to win the election. You don't have to give them clothes, mobiles, pressure cooker, then TV set, all those things you don't have to give them. If people are capable, or even they are the 1 kg, that 1 rupee rice per kg. So you don't have to give all these things. You make them capable, you make them qualified, you make them eligible, so that they themselves will earn their livelihood. That is what generally one's sort of the capability approach of development says. But the question is how this governance can help creating a better atmosphere for the development of the state. I'll only touch upon this capability approach. Though government now has that skill development department also has been created, and in different states, in almost all states, now the skill development schemes are there, people are being, but all these things, they are unreachable to the common masses. You think about the rural youths. How many rural youth they know about this skill development things are there. And second, our schemes regarding skill development things, they are good in fact to talk and discuss there in the classroom. Those teachers who teach them, how many of them they come to the field and how many of them they are working with those participants so that they themselves will be inspired by the development of skills. That is one. So the state needs to play a very vital role for developing the skills and capability of the people. That is how the issue of governance comes. Second one, I always advocate for participatory democracy. The democracy or the system of governance in which it will not be I and they or we and they, we the government and they the people. This distinction or the barrier, the wall must crumble down, because unless people they themselves feel that we are also part of the government and we, they are not two different entities, at that time there will be sense of belongingness, sense of involvement will be there, and that is how the development process can be accelerated. That is two. Third thing, when we think about development, we must think about the issue of governance. There has to be space specific, context specific. The development agenda cannot be same for all states or even within a country also. To all the provinces, the same model of development, that is not possible. So decentralization of the development process, need-based development, the development which is based on requirement and need, they need to be identified, and based on that only the government needs to take up the issue of development. So what I'm telling is that it's some sort of participatory agenda, the state and the people, because ultimately people are the beneficiaries. It is the development for the people only. So they must come forward. They must be active participant in any development. So participatory management, participatory governance, participatory democracy, all these things are the need of the hour. See, most of the time, our political system, or even you can say that electoral system, has been made to such an extent that so your representatives, once they win the election, they are invisible, or you have to make a beeline to meet your MLA or MP, and if he is a minister, then forget again, he is inaccessible. So this type of things must come down, and any development for the people generally must come from the what sort of what is the priorities for the people. Let the people themselves identify, and accordingly the state must come forward to materialize that. If state will dictate or will impose some of the development to the people, they may react also. They may react adversely, because if it is not very much conducive or helpful, they will oppose. So these are some of the issues relating to, rather I would have wished to have more interaction on this issue, and I would have spoken much longer about that. But keeping in view of your presentation, so I think let me stop here. So any Any brief comment or observation or question? Of course,
Sir, if time permits, I have a very small question. Please correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Sir, the present state scenario is more of a, market-driven political system and a market-driven state system. Now, with the idea of market politics gaining stronghold, is it diluting the very essence of, welfare-oriented politics in India?
no, that's why definitely I told that because any development, because once you leave to the market will think about a development so long as its interests or purpose is served. They will not budge an inch, even if people supposing now you think about medical health facilities. You must have seen that many corporate people generally they are now many corporate houses they have constructed very good super specialized hospitals they have made. Do you think that they have done all these things for public point of view or thinking about the public interest only? Because they also earn a lot of money from there, because you and I or even common people, we cannot go to those hospitals because they are so costly. So common people cannot afford that. But they provide best services, no doubt, best facilities they give. So that's why market welfare is a very, very holistic thing, because I can think about my welfare. So when my mind, body, my society, my economy, there will be overall development or overall welfare, then only I can think about that this is welfare. I cannot think about welfare only if supposing I wear good clothes or supposing I have a good mobile. So that is not the issue of development. There cannot be true development. So market generally, market now, another thing let me tell you, market in the new liberal era has a hidden agenda, and that agenda is how to entice consumer, how to create artificial desire among the consumers, so that you will be tempted to buy more and more. Supposing with one mobile we can manage, but we are tempted, suppose this company mobile gives that, has that facility. So like more than one mobile we need, more than one vehicle we are having. So all these things, why? Because all these things, they are created, the situation has been created by these capitalists or these market forces, so that you will be tempted to buy. They are so attractive, you cannot resist this temptation, you are bound to buy. Thank you. Any?
Thank you, sir. Any more queries from my colleagues across the spectrum? If anybody
Ma'am,
wants to ask directly. Yes, please,
no.
ma'am. Maria.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you spoke about the interference of the state in the life of the individual. Sir, your views to what extent this is possible, because we, the individual in today's scenario, hardly tolerate any interference, and state is something we end up criticizing these days a lot.
Yeah, right. I'll give you one example only. Then see, we resist the interference of the state when it is an organized force. Individually, our reaction doesn't matter, and state also tries to brush aside those interference, those resistance. Why I'm saying so? In today's world, we think that the state generally is more or less has abdicated its authority to the market, but no. In political sphere, state continues to interfere. You think about India. Do you think that people, individuals, they don't suffer at the hands of the individual, I'm telling, not as, as any group, any community or anything. As individual, are we not suffering at that, or are we not being targeted by the state? One. Second, do you think that the state individual can resist any interference by the state? No, it's not possible. The state continues. Yes, when it is there, and I know in this media era, everything supposing in social media or even electronic media, and that is again is a vested interest and vested agenda. If you do that, then again, yes, someone is being targeted, someone is suffering, the state is harassing this individual, but how many of them are getting this thing? So there are many people in the rural area, they continue to suffer. They are simply, no one knows, unnoticed. Okay, thank you, because there is no much time, otherwise you would have discussed.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you, sir.
So I had a very small question. Can I ask?
Yeah, tell me, quick.
There are approaches of human development, the welfare approach, basic need approach, and all that. So, do you think that these freebies are spoiling the concept of human development?
These freebies.
Yes, sir.
See, you are asking to a person who is so vocal against all these freebies, because there is competition among state governments. If this state is giving 30 schemes, launching 30 schemes, then another state will say that no, we will give 50 schemes. So there is, and especially Odisha government, more than 120 schemes are there. And people from even the child entering into the womb of the mother till funeral takes place. Each and every scheme is there to take care of you. And as a result of that, you go to rural area, people, they are so lazy now, they don't do anything, because 30 kg, 35 kg rice, if you find, get in a month, having 1 rupee cost only per kg, so why people they will work? So
Yes, sir.
ultimately, for our electoral benefit, we are spoiling the society, and that's why this is something, I don't know if judiciary also has given stricture, but these politicians, they don't pay any heed to that, so they are bent upon in different ways. I think that this is actually official bribes. These freebies, they are the official bribes only. And legal bribes, which you cannot question also in the court of law.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
In case there is any further questions, you are free to ask.
No, ma'am, it's all about 11:15. So
Yes.
I'd like to request our moderator to
Yeah.
wind up this session and we to move for this group discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely, sir. All right. So since we also have the presentation that is going to happen in a little while, we are falling short of time. I would like to wind up this session for today. We are extremely grateful and thankful to have Professor Satapathy among us. Sir deliberated intensely on the very idea of the state and the entire philosophy as to how the state has been growing, right from the market-driven welfare schemes to the structuralist idea of state. It was definitely a kind of a discourse that has basically opened up a Pandora's box for majority of us from the political science. Thank you so much, sir. Looking forward to hearing more from you in the near future. On behalf of the organizing committee and all my colleagues across the spectrum, I extend a heartiest thank you. Thank you so much, and looking forward to hearing and meeting you in person in the near future. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to you, Dipen sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for moderating this session. Thank you, Professor Satapathy sir, for giving us your valuable time and wonderful presentations. I hope our participants have learned a lot. Now we have to move for this group discussion session. And in this session, Professor Satapathy sir will be there as a chairperson. So may I request all the participants of Group C to present their presentation accordingly, and sir will be there as a chairperson of this session. So what are all the participants who are there in the Group C?
I think the first is Dr. Swapnali Datta.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let there be presentation. Swapnali Datta, can you hear me? Swapnali Datta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, just you can have your presentation, but see, let me tell you one thing before presentation, because 3 minutes virtually,
So excuse me,
the
sir. I
time
am
flies
from
like
Group
anything.
B.
That's why be careful about the time limit. Yeah, tell me. Hello.
Actually, sir, I am from Group B. Today, Group C will present.
Group, oh, sorry. Okay, oh, sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay, Dr. Diganta Kumar Das. Sorry, that is Mr. Biren Nath. Yeah. Kamarbandha College, Mr. Biren Nath. Mr. Biren Nath.
I think, sir, he is absent. He is
Absent.
very regularly absent, sir.
Okay. Okay, then next one is Dr. Diganta Kumar Das.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So very good morning to you all, respected chairperson and all my dear fellow participants. I want to speak on local government and its fellow in very briefly. So in its, I would like to speak on the local government in its theoretical perspective, both in rural and urban. So local government is the part of the state government in federal countries, dealing mainly with local affairs administered by authorities subordinate to the state government. Local government institutions are known by different names. In India, the popular term is local self-government. In England, it is local authorities. In other places, it is local government. In India, the provincial governments were known as local governments. Here, I use the term local authorities, which include both urban and rural. The urban local authorities include corporations, municipalities, and town committees. The rural boards include panchayats, anchal panchayats, gaon panchayats, and gram sabhas. One of the most important virtues inherent in local government is the easy intimacy and the ready access to local government official. If a citizen cannot see local government officer at his office during the daytime, he can talk with him at his doorstep in the morning when he goes down for official purpose. This is the most important virtue. Secondly, local problems are simple and manageable. This means that the machinery and procedure of local government are simple. Generally, there is no need for inspectors to inspect inspectors, no need for multiple signatures, and no need for double entries. This is true so far as panchayats are concerned and not so as regards corporations. Thirdly, all members of the local authorities are believed to be well acquainted with local problems and issues. Fourthly, there is a plenty of scope for modification of rules and regulations to suit the changing conditions. Thus, while maintaining uniformity, so far as general matters are concerned, diversity is also permitted to suit local conditions. Fifthly, local government avoids distant and impersonal control of central government. It avoids government by generalization in favor of government by geography, specialization. It ignores the evils of bureaucracy. It also avoids involvement in big and presumably bad politics of a large government. It facilitates direct, personal, intimate, informal, face-to-face contact between the local government official and the citizen. The contact between the state government and the individual, on the other hand, is indirect, impersonal, anonymous, distant, and formal. It is a government by procedures as government by red tape system. Sixthly, and finally, it encourages as many citizens as possible to take interest in its activities and problems. It is no doubt true that Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha provide some opportunities for the citizen to play his part, but local government officers offers the greatest number of opportunities. This is one of the greatest pursuits of local government. The absence of local government may bring disastrous consequences. Firstly, there will be no other agency to undertake.
I think you have to
Yes, sir.
wind up. We have to wind up 3 minutes.
Okay,
Less
sir.
time,
Okay,
I know,
sir.
very less time,
So this is all about the importance of local government. Only local, if there exists some local government, we can solve our some local problem, regional problems. So by this, I conclude my speech. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
next one is Desi Rani Talukdar. Desi Rani Talukdar.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chairperson, sir. Good morning, the organizers and my fellow participants. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us an opportunity to speak a little bit about what we are working on or whatever our ideas to share it. Okay, I was been interested to speak something about local governance. As we know, the local governance is that government jurisdiction which comes just after the state. And in India, it has been initiated through Lord Ripon, Lord Mayo, and then comes Royal Commission, etc., to give a perspective of how local governance can be effective to bring more participatory method of democracy. Now, it would be wrong if I don't speak of Mahatma Gandhi here, because he also dreamt of something like a condition where the villages will get prominence in running the country. In the post-independent era also, there were a number of acts, recommendations, as well as commissions, and as well as amendments, which tried to bring about different local governance systems. And two of the prominent local governance system, which is working till now in India, is, as we all know, is for urban areas, it is the municipal corporation, and for rural areas, it is the Panchayati Raj Act. Now, what I would like to speak about is the special provision of the sixth schedule, which is specifically made for the region of Northeast India. And rather, I would give light on the system, why this system has been formed, and now why they are not being able to effectively work in today's scenario. Now, I will again specifically come to the question of the two pertinent problem which these autonomous district councils, or I would say autonomous council, some with sixth schedule status and some without sixth schedule status, are not being able to work nicely. And first and foremost comes the financial autonomy, which has not been conferred upon these institutions properly. And number two is the delegation of power, the power constrictions that the state government has imposed on these bodies. For example, I would take one example from BTR. In a recently taken interview by me to the political advisor to a political leader, he vehemently said that in spite of extending lots of areas to BTR, then declared as Bodo territorial region, they are requesting the state government to confer 19 important subjects, including land, resource, and all, to confer this power to the to BTR. But the state government is very sluggish to work upon it and to confer the power to them. Just as a result, there are many pertinent issues which they could not work out. Then I will refer to RHAC, Rabha Hassan Autonomous Council, which is without the 6th schedule status. And I have seen the issue of land, where I am working now. The issue of land has been very pertinently tackled by the CEM of the Rabha Council out of the court, because they don't have that power to directly help the people, but they have been solving a number of issues relating to land and specifically relating to immigration issue of Gwalpara. In a particular revenue circle, they have been able to stop, I would say, completely immigration in a very small village for the last 5 years, where there used to be more than 200 houses. That has been stopped by Rabha Hassan Autonomous Council people within their jurisdiction, within their power limits.
I think you have to stop now.
Yes, sir. My question is that if these things are worked out, then probably local governance will become more effective and fruitful in near future. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Next will be Deepa Barua. Will be Deepa Barua.
Am I audible, sir?
Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you can start.
Good morning, everyone present here. A respected chairperson and respected organizer committee and all my fellow participants. I am Deepa Barua, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Pupongkhor College. I am going to discuss about the local governance, rural and urban perspective in India very shortly. Local governance in India encompassing both rural and urban areas plays a significant role in promoting effective administration, citizen participation, and grassroots development. It operates within the framework of constitutional amendments, comprises various components, perform essential functions, and face certain limitations. The 73rd Amendment Act empowered rural local bodies, established Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samitis, and Zilla Parishad for decentralized governance. The 74th Amendment Act recognized urban local governance, granting constitutional status to municipal corporation and municipal corporations, and promoting elected municipal bodies for autonomous administration, planning, and service delivery. Let us know about the components of local governance. Rural local bodies such as Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samitis, and Zilla Parishad are vital for local governance, playing key roles in planning, implementing, and monitoring rural development initiatives. Urban local bodies such as municipality corporation and boards govern cities and towns, focusing on essential services, urban planning, infrastructure development, and overall welfare of the urban communities. Now, functionalities of local governance. Planning and development. Local governance bodies engage in land use planning, infrastructure development, and environmental conservation to promote sustainable development. Service delivery. Local governance ensures the provision of essential services such as water supply, sanitation, healthcare, education, and public safety to improve residents' quality of life. Now, citizens' participation and empowerment. Local governance encourages citizen engagement through public consultation, community meeting, and participatory decision making, empowering them to contribute to local government and hold representatives accountable. There are some limitations of local governance, such as local governance bodies face financial limitation, relying on grants and funds from higher level of government, which can hinder development, projects and infrastructure maintenance. Limitation training opportunities and resources can hinder the efficiency and effectiveness of local governance bodies requiring skilled personnel for administrative and developmental functions. Coordinating with multiple government departments and agencies can be challenging, resulting in delays in decision-making and project implementation. In conclusion, I want to say that local governments in India, be it in rural and urban areas, is strengthened by constitutional amendments which provide a framework for decentralized decision-making and administration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have finished well on time. Thank you so much, Ms. Bora. Then next one is Dr. Shraddhanjali Pradhan, Tejpur University.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And this is Shraddhanjali Pradhan, and I'm working as an assistant professor in Tejpur University. Although I am working in
which department?
education department, sir.
Okay, good.
And so, though I have least knowledge and information about how this local government actually works, but when we are working with the stakeholders, and also like how the different schemes are being implemented and what is the role of the governance. So my submission also will be related to how the local governments, particularly to the urban communities and the local rural communities, so they could able to help in implementation of the NEP 2020 recommendations. So earlier also we have seen that in the line of SSA, how this local government, they have played their crucial role in facilitating educations. And their local governments also been associated with many educational programs to create awareness among the people also. Like Gram Sabha was been involved in conducting like social audits of the MDM and ICDS. They were also involved in monitoring the uses of the financial resources, and also like Manrega schemes also were being used to build social and educational infrastructure like schools and roads, and also how the local governments they have a major role in like exercising this RT Act also, like establish a school within the 5-kilometer reach. The standard and quality education has been provided that has been evaluated by the village level committees. Also the dropout rates like also been like control somewhere been reduced by the help of this local government. Now when it comes to local government and NEP 2020, so we need to see like what are the major recommendations. Like I want to highlight one of the major recommendations that of NEP 2020, like the higher priority is to achieve the foundation literacy by all students by grade 3. And also we are heading towards universalization of providing quality education through early childhood development, care and education. And that has to be achieved as soon as possible, not later than 2030, to ensure that all the students entering the grade 1 are ready for the schools. So with regard to that, the local government also can have a major role for the achieving of the foundation literacy and numeracy by the grade 3 when they are going to work at the local level to the Gram Panchayat, to the municipality, and also for the universal access to the ECC when the NEP has already mentioned that the Anganwadis will be strengthened with the high quality infrastructure, play equipment, well-trained Anganwadi workers and teachers. So every Anganwadi will have a good infrastructures with an enriched learning environment. The children also will be provided with all sorts of facilities so that there could be a transition from the Anganwadi centers to the primary schools in a more smoother way. So how to strengthen the Anganwadis and how we can make an integration of Anganwadis into the school complexes as clusters, Anganwadi children, their parents and teachers, how they will be aware about this need of this foundational numeracy and literacy. So making a provision of infrastructure, awareness is also a part of the local government also. And one of the recommendations of NEP 2020 also emphasized on that there should be a regulatory framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency of the education system to audit and public discourse while encouraging the innovation and out-of-the-box ideas through autonomy, good governance, and empowerment. So, which highlighted the role of the local government, the role of the good governance, and how the good governance is going to help in the sustenance of the quality education at the primary level, and for the providing more autonomy to the schools through the school cluster, school complexes, rationalization of the schools, through which we could able to reduce this what are the mechanism which hinders for accessibilities or effective school governance. So with effective school governance, resource sharing, and community building, we could able
You
to
have to
achieve.
stop
Yes, sir.
now.
Oh,
Stop.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this stuff.
okay. So now next presenter will be Dr. Mrigendranath Sharma.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chairperson, sir, respected organizing committee members, and all my fellow participants. I am going to deliver a speech on the topic local government, rural and urban. As my previous participants defined various points of view in this local governance, I also want to focus some points very briefly. We all know that local government is lowest tier of government in India, which is made to look and solve the problem in any specific local area. In the local government, participation at the grassroots level of society is included in the administration process. India is a federal republic with three spheres of government: central, state, and local. In the year 1992, the former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao has passed the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments, and it have a great significant role in providing recognition and power. This Amendment Act empowered panchayat and municipalities with a vision of local self-government. The purpose of local government in India are to build the infrastructure of development like road, transport, etc., to build and maintain community assets, to promote agricultural development through management and control of minor irrigation and water management, soil conservation and land improvement, to promote social forestry and animal husbandry, dairy and poultry, to promote the development of village industry, and to manage and control education and health at the local levels. Local bodies are institutions of empowering people for self-government. In both rural and urban area, there are three local self-government bodies. In rural areas, the governing bodies include Zilla Parishad, Panchayat, Samitis, and Gram Panchayat. Now I want to say advantage and disadvantage of local government. Advantages are solution at grassroots level. This strengthens democracy, perform various functions such as construction and maintenance of roads, availability of water, construction of school, education, facilities are taken care by the local self-government. And hence, and encourages of local leadership, empowerment of local communities, accountability and transparency, promotion of diversity and inclusivity, community participation, increased women's representation, and voice in our democracy. There are also some disadvantages are insufficient funds, there is no proper distribution of power, lack of expertise. Local government may lack the expertise needed to address complex issues. Elections are not held regularly. Some of the states' Gram Sabha are not held regularly. Political interference in government, contract allocation, when ruling power changes hands, combined with lack of accountability, it leads to corruption. People prefer democracy because they want to live in an environment of equality and liberty. The local self-government creates that scope for enjoying democracy. Through this local self-government, local problems can be considered and solved adequately and properly. Thank you, sir. Now I come to end my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. So now actually, in fact, there is a request from Tansang and Kankyo. So he has some other engagement, Prof. That's why he wants to present now. So, okay, now I request Mr. Tansang to make the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, respected chairperson and my dear and respected fellow participants. In this session of presenting one's own ideas about local governance, it is a very.
You can keep your video on. You can keep your video on.
Yes, sir. Am I visible, sir?
Yeah.
Local governance is very important areas of our administrative process, and it is even Mahatma Gandhi emphasized on the development of the Panchayat Raj, and Panchayat Raj is also an example of local governance. Local governance is responsible for a range of vital services for people and business in different defined areas. Among them are well-known functions such as social care, schools, housing, and planning and waste collection, but also regional areas such as licensing, business support, register services, and parks control are some areas that local governance look after. And different type of local governance are the municipalities and the regional municipalities, rural communities, and local services. Local governance is a very important factor, and it's a real, honestly to say, it is the reflection of the vision and the ethics of the central government, how they treat and how they want to see the whole of the nation. And here, alongside saying something about this local governance, I like to say one more thing about the ethics about local governance, that openness and transparency, democratic accountability, implementing desired outcomes, effectivity, and efficiency. These things should be also reflected in the local governance. And beside these things, I like to say a few words about the local self-government in Assam. In Assam, there are three types of district autonomous council, like BTC, Boru Territorial Council, and Dima Hasao Autonomous Council, and the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. And here, apart from that, we have six autonomous councils presently: Rabha Hajong Autonomous Council, Missing Autonomous Council, Tiwa Autonomous Council, Deuri Autonomous Council, Thengal Kasari Autonomous Council, Sonoal Kasari Autonomous Council. It is desired that these tribes and these backward communities is expected to be prosper and develop them to their desired height. And ethics is also required so that they can implement the sum of money, the power handed over to them, and so that they can improve in their social, economic, educational, ethnic, and cultural advancement, and through tribal resources and their preservation of uh, ethnic assets and transportations and economic development markets and other uh, areas of their development through they must have to look up after properly and carefully and very authentically and sincerely. Then only this development then only the desired aspiration could be met.
Thank you.
And thank you, sir, for this for the chance given to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all from me, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now next presenter will be Dr. Siddharth Nayan Sharma. Dr. Siddharth Nayan.
Good morning, sir. Sir, can you hear my voice, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, I am very sorry. Actually, I am giving my presentation from my car. Actually, what is happening in my college, admission process is going on. And in my department, some students are coming and there is a serious network issue also is there. So that's why I'm giving my presentation from here only. Sir, first of all, I'm really thankful to you, the way you have given presentation. I have tried to understand few of the things from you, and the way the whole whole program was organized. I'm very much thankful and grateful to the organizer as well, and we learned many things in our previous sessions. So coming to this presentation, sir, actually the moment I got this information about the discussion, I tried to have some study on this, and I found few points that I want to highlight here. So first of all, we all know that the moment we say about the planning and development of India, right from the 1947 or establishment of the many of the institutions like Planning Commission or to the Niti Aayog, the moment we see the local governance thing, whether it is rural or whether it is urban, what I found is that the moment it is said that in case of Niti Aayog, which is completely based on a federal structure, that means the decisions making process will be taking the information from the grassroots level. So so I find that it is very much now. It is though local governance bodies, whether it is in rural area or urban area, they have been playing a significant role, but now they have more scope because the policymakers will be getting information from the grassroots level from where the exact development is needed. The development may be needed to the infrastructure, maybe needed to the health, maybe needed to the education, or maybe needed to or maybe addressing a very particular problem of a particular region. For example, in Assam, we have some other problems that other part of the countries may not have. So at grassroots level, people know what is the problem is happening. So this local governance body can really play a significant role. Amendments were done in 73rd and 74th amendments, which have already been mentioned by by my fellow participants. So the local governance really can play a very significant role. I understand here. And second thing is that in our this program, the whole topic is like good governance. So I think that this local government bodies also should have a proper implementation of the local governance, because many a times we see there are policies are coming from the higher authority or from the parallel authority, but the implementation where there is a problem, probably that there is a good governance mechanism will be needed through which we can have a all-round development in our economy or as well as in the society or in different parameters. So thirdly, I want to say that because I'm a person from commerce, I'm a person from finance, finance and accounting. The moment, see, sir, now what is happening? The government is having a huge burden of spending, but because we say it is a welfare country, we have government should have different schemes and everything. Just now it was discussed about the freebies and all. But what I believe is that so now this is a high time that because we are trying to have a concept called resilience economy, we are trying to have a concept called we should be self-dependent. So that means all these small concepts, whether it is a local governance or in urban area or rural area, they should be sufficiently strong enough to have some revenue earning capacity as well. They should not be seen always welfare organization or welfare entities. They should have some functions from which they can earn revenue. For example, they can get into some economic activities as well, because from my own experience, when I was doing my PhD, the moment I went to my PhD was on refinance of agricultural activities. That time I have gone to many of the villages of Assam, and I found that there are entities in officially, but they are not able to function because of the paucity of the funds. But every time we cannot seek for the government funding, because government is doing this government or that government, I am not saying, but government is doing their part, which is a proper allocation. Sometimes allocation comes because of many reasons. We all know it goes to different misappropriation or something. But what I believe is that the institutions should have some other activities in their functions as well, so that they can have some revenue generation capacity as well. So that is very much needed, which will automatically attract financial governance concept, which was discussed by one of the chairperson, one of the research person in day before yesterday. So what I believe is that everything has to be modernized, and everything has to be in a new growing stage. Like there cannot be a constant concept. So this is my one point that I want to highlight. And another thing is that, sir, what I understood, that many a times we see the people who are in this local governance bodies, like that, they are actually structured. All of us know it is urban or it is rural. Many a times we see that they are not completely equipped with that may be skill, that may be knowledge, that may be information, that may be their public speaking quality, or or their understandability of the policy making decisions. So they should be given a very frequent training, so that the ultimate objectives of these governance bodies will be into the reality, and people's participation is needed. Definitely, I got some informations in my, I told you, in my PhD. I got some information that people doesn't come for the participation in the local governance meeting. Like, for example, if they are organizing a meeting, very less participation comes. So all these things are very important.
Wind up here to wind up.
Yes, sir, I'm ending it, sir. So, sir, my whole idea behind this thing is that we have to have some modernization of this concept also. We have to include some more functions, and definitely for democracy, we need this kind of organization. But we cannot always be like a welfare state, we know. But definitely, it is a time that we have to understand the market demand. So, if we understand the market demand concept, we have already welcomed. So these entities also should have some economic activities, so that they can have some fund, at least to 20 to 30% fund of their own, to function more widely for the greater interest of the people. So thank you so much, sir, for your gestures, for giving me this opportunity to speak, sir. Thank you so much.
So now next presenter will be Dr. Himadri Bharali.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone present here. Respected chairperson, sir, honorable organizing committee members, and my fellow participants. I am Dr. Himadri Bharali, assistant professor from Pubbankar College. So today my topic of discussion is local governance, and I am presenting very briefly on the concepts, functions, and limitations. So in India, local government refers to the governmental jurisdictions below the level of the state. So local government actually refers to the system of governance in which the powers and responsibilities of governing a particular specified geographical area are vested in the hands of the local people rather than the central government. So it is a government of the district and the village level. So this form of government mainly deals with the day-to-day affairs and problems of common people. The 73rd and the 74th constitutional amendments give recognitions and protection to local governments in India. Since 1992, local government in India takes place in two very distinct forms. In the rural areas, it is a panchayati raj system, and in the urban areas, it is known as the municipality and municipal corporations. So coming to the point of functions, what are the functions? So mainly local government deals with the development of infrastructure like building of roads, transport system, etc. It also maintains community assets. It promotes agricultural development through management and control of minor irrigation and water management, soil conservation, and land improvement. It also promotes social forestry and element husbandry, dairy, poultry, etc. Local government promotes the development of village industry, and it also manages and controls education and health at the local level. Though this government works for the common people, yet there are some hindrances which hamper the successful running of the local governments in our region. So the first point we may point out that scarcity of finance and the lack of resources, which makes it difficult to provide services to the local communities at greater level. So another limitations we might talk about the excessive state control, which hampering the effective running of the government at local, the needs of the community. So unplanned urbanization is another major issue. There are lack of technical knowledge of the government officials and experiences, lack of experiences also hampering the fulfilling the local needs of the community. And there are actually the lack of coordination among the central, state, and the various department at the local level, which is affected greatly or it's impacted negatively on the local government. And it's found that the people's participation in local government system is very, very low. So I want to stop here. So these are the limitations. If we think about these issues very seriously, actually it's our responsibility, then only we can succeed in the long run. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next one is Dr. Pramita Baisya. Pranita
Yes,
Baisya.
sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Chairperson, sir, respected members of the organizing committee of this workshop, and my dear fellow participants. Today, our topic of group discussion is local governance, both rural and urban. In this context, I would like to speak about Panchayat and rural development. The Panchayat system, as we all know, is a three-tier system. Gaon Panchayat at the village level are the key unit, while the middle level comprises of Anchalik Panchayat at the block level, and we have Zila Parishad at the apex level. Rural development primarily aimed at improving the quality of the rural population, particularly the weaker and the poorer areas. The Panchayat institutions are offered a chance for local initiative and improvement in development operations in order to foster democratic decentralization. These institutions are expected to play an important role in the planning and execution of various developmental programs. By 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment, Indian government empowered the Panchayat institutions for making their own developmental plan, levy taxes, running schools, hospitals, making roads, etc. Government of India and the state government have been increasingly seeking the assistance of Panchayat institutions in the implementation of various schemes as well as poverty alleviation program. Of this following development program of the government of India and the state government have invariably sought a meaningful involvement of the Panchayat institutions. A specific role has been carved out for them in the context of the 11th schedule and the five-year plans. The programs like Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, Swarna Jayanti Gram Rozgar Yojana, Indira Awas Yojana, Samagra Awas Yojana, Tribal Area Development Program, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, and many other programs and implemented through the Panchayat institutions. Panchayat institutions are involved in rural development through their participation in planning and execution of at the village level. Gram Sabha is an integral part of the Panchayat system and is being empowered to involve all the people in the decentralized planning. Even though funds and sanctioning power may still be at different level, but when the question comes for execution of programs, there is no alternative but to involve the Panchayat institutions at the village level. There is no substitute to local governance for meeting the needs of the local population. If implemented properly, the system of local governance has the potential to transform the lives of the rural population. At last, I would like to wind up the presentation with a slogan that is strengthen Panchayati Raj, transform rural India. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next presenter will be Rupjyoti Das. Rupjyoti Das.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So at the very outset, I apologize for giving the presentation from my car because admission process has been going on and I had to do some work. I have to come out. So I apologize for that, sir.
Okay.
Honorable Chairperson and my esteemed fellow participants. Today, my topic of presentation is local government, rural and urban. So local governance signifies a system of rural local self-government established to build democracy at the grassroots level of administration. It is also responsible for a range of vital services, though decentralized institution is said to foster participation, transparency, and development. Since the late 1980s, we have witnessed a wave of decentralization globally, which is founded upon the idea of making governance more participatory and inclusiveness. The 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments have a great significant role in providing recognition and power to the local governments. With this constitutional amendments, India's two-tier system has been transformed into three-tier system, both in the rural and urban setting. The 72nd and 73rd amendment was passed to create a local institution more democratic, autonomous, financially strong, and capable of formulating and implementing plans for the respective areas. The amendment also established the rural and urban governance to establish mechanism to fund them and also carry out local elections every 5 years. So am I audible?
Yeah, audible. Continue.
Thank you, sir. So the system that was carried out in some of the local elections every 5 years, now the PRIs are also uniform in the country, except the scheduled and tribal areas. Now coming to this function, in order to effectively carry out local governance, whether in the urban or the rural setting smoothly, both the urban and rural bodies needs funding. And there are two main sources, internal and external. There is the existence of also a state finance commission once every year to be constituted, and this has been provided in order to review the financial position of the local bodies. Though political decentralization has been successfully achieved through local government system, but there are certain challenges. The 74th amendment requires it also requires a district planning committee to be set up in each district so the development plans can be prepared. But in some states, the body of the district planning committees are non-functional. Most of the local bodies, both rural and urban, are unable to generate funds from their internal sources and therefore extremely dependent on external sources, that is the state government fundings in the forms of loans and grant from the state government. So India's local government system needs to be empowered in all systems so as to ensure that power really rests on the public. Another important point I need to highlight is that about the reservation of women, because gender equality is one of the most important challenges in the local bodies also. Reservation of women there, though it has been provided through the 73rd amendment as 1/3 reservation, but what we find, the woman has not been able to participate or they have not been able to successfully participate in the political arena in the local government system because there are challenges in the form of illiteracy. There is lack of leadership experience and quality among women's private household duties also debar them from active participation. There is also the denial of information, less able to concern on political participation, etc. So to overcome these issues and to enhance the self-confidence of women should be provided with good support system within the family, policy focusing on ending gender parity, gender biasness, and also addressing the issue of economic empowerment among women, rural women folk. So I conclude that in spite of these challenges, we can hope for a better local governance in both the urban and rural arena with the support of the government endeavor and understanding of the people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next presenter will be Petrimayum Mailiodi Devi from Tripura University. Mailiodi Devi from Tripura University. Can you hear me?
Sir, she is not present. I have not found her in the group. She is very regularly in here, sir.
Okay. Okay, then next presenter is Bar Yakar. Bar Yakar.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir? My
Yeah.
video.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
once again, some problem has happened with my video. Just give me a second, sir.
Okay, okay, okay,
Sir, I think there is some issue with my video. Even then,
okay, okay,
I want to
continue.
proceed. Okay, okay, sir. So, hello, pleasant afternoon, everyone. Respected chairperson and my fellow participants, I'm Baryakar, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Deranathum Government College, Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. I'm thankful to the organizer for this opportunity to talk on the theme local governance, rural and urban. I would like to discuss the theme directly in the context of my state, Arunachal Pradesh. And before I start, I express that these are some observation and feedbacks from direct interactions with villagers, panchayat leaders, officials, elders from the villages, and different tribes over a period of time. The working of this local government and challenges which I've drawn out may vary from tribal society to society in degree and order list, but all of them agreed they face such challenges in general. So when we talk about a brief history of local governance in Arunachal Pradesh, all the tribes have been governed by our own distinct traditional institution from time immemorial. However, during NEFA period, a non-indigenous system of rural government, that is Panchayati Raj system, was imposed through NEFA Panchayati Regulation, Raj Regulation 1967 for the first time. This was enacted with effect from 2nd October 1968, and subsequently we saw elections in village levels after accepting Dr. Daingering's recommendation for 3-tier Panchayati Raj institutions despite a very low population. Later, to confirm 73rd Constitution Amendment Act 1992 and to dissolve the earlier Act of 1967, the Arunachal Pradesh Panchayati Raj Act 1997 was brought. But due to scheduled caste reservation issue, Government of India passed this act with the 83rd Constitution Amendment Act 2000, and which was later notified in the year 2001. This paved way for Panchayat elections in 2003, 2008, 2013, then after a gap in 2020. The time of 2018 election was delayed due to MP and MLA election of 2018 and so-called Arunachal Pradesh Panchayati Raj Amendment Bill 2018, ending 3-tier to 2-tier, as our state has below 20 lakhs of population. The said next election is due in December 2025. Over the years, with introduction of Panchayati Raj system, tribal people have gradually seen some significant changes, or in other words, some problems, which I'm going to discuss here. These are well known, but least spoken in public domain. Some of them I'm going to say. Number one is erosion of tribal ethos or brotherhood. People believe that are of the opinion that the modern system of governance, that is Panchayati Raj system, eroded the tribal ethos of brotherhood, which was prevailing in the village level since time immemorial, which is the bedrock of our tribal society. Simple, innocent tribal people are now challenged with vexed political gain. Political harassment has become new order of the day. Number two is disharmony. Panchayat election further has politicized tribal village, and now we can see more disharmony within the village. Sentiments of clan, kinship, blood, family bond, these are heavily being affected over the politics of 5 years. Politics related violence, family feud is marking its deep head in the society. Number third, PR, Panchayati Raj institution, is seen more as an income generation source than developmental agencies. And therefore we see that elites to employ unemployed youths, from old to young, school dropouts, from government employees to school, social or political workers, men or women, all are found in the race. Number four is that we cannot check the working of Panchayati Raj owing to social relations. It is extremely difficult at the cost of social relation. Concept of social audit further is unknown here. Number fifth is that due to poverty and illiteracy, village people cannot check the trio. I mean to say bureaucrats, panchayat leaders, and politicians. Number six is that there is a vulnerability due to dependence on elites. Illiteracy, poverty, this creates a fear in villagers, and therefore they're making them vulnerable and hesitant. Number seven is that there's a new development here. It is the acceptance of money culture during elections. There's a huge flow of money, cars for vote and campaigning, and also offer of government job has become lucrative purse in panchayat politics. Corrupt leader purchase their legitimate rights for following
in 5 years. And number 8 is emergence of lobby groups composed by youth goons, unemployed student group, and marked by hyperactivity by lazy people. Now, all these are some of the general effects seen in the village level of this borderland tribal state, cutting across its 26 major tribes and more than 100 tribes of Arunachal Pradesh. On the other hand, when we talk about urban local government, it is comparatively new than Panchayat Raj in the state. The 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, which is urban government or municipalities in urban areas, was introduced through the Arunachal Pradesh Municipal Corporation Act 2007 for establishing municipal council and Nagar Panchayats. Hence, we saw establishment of Itanagar Municipal Corporation, commonly known as IMC, and later Pasigat Municipal Council, PMC. Thereafter, elections held in 2013 and 2020. An upcoming election is pending in December 2025. Interestingly, due to ever-increasing population site migration and dynamism, and basically non-planning of the city, the corporation have complex developmental challenges, which is different than that of the village level. And further, these cities are smart cities, so their expectation is of varied nature. And since public interest is overlapping and multifaceted, to be dealt by district administration, MLA, and municipal corporators together, public cannot blame everything on them. Further, I jotted some overload remedies, but however, there is time limit. I conclude here, and we can say that the grassroots level politics in Arunachal Pradesh is posing a new challenge to the tribal society. And with this, I like to conclude here, and thank you for patient hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. The last presenter is Mandira Bora. Mandira Bora.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Honorable resource person, respected coordinator, respected participants. My topic is empowering Panchayati Raj institutions through e-governance. Hence, I am combining local rural governance with e-governance. The census data 2011 shows that there are 6,63,811 villages in India. This accounts for more than 68% of the total populace. How to improve the condition of this growing rural population in order to achieve the goal of developing and empowering this populace? Panchayati Raj institutions have come into being. Panchayati Raj institutions are rural local self-government institutions. Panchayati Raj institutions work as a third tier of administration that includes Gram Panchayat as basic unit of local level governance. Information and communication technology, ICT, empowers the panchayats to increase their participation in the decision-making process and in the service dealing process. Some landmark projects strengthening ICT at local level are National E-Governance Plan, E-Infrastructure, State Data Center, Statewide E-Network, Common Service Center, Service Delivery Gateways, for example, NSDG, SSDG, MSDG, etc. Electronic Panchayat or e-Panchayat is one among the various mission mode projects. E-Panchayat goal is to provide better service delivering to citizens living in rural areas across the country. Its main aim is to make sure development of local area and to empower grassroots governance by availing wide range of services to citizens, Panchayat as officials, elected representatives, etc. Under the e-Panchayat, Panchayat Enterprise Suite has been introduced. The PS contains 12 core common applications. In the current scenario, PES is working with the following 10 core common applications: LGD, Plan Plus, Action Soft, Service Plus, and Training, etc. Thus, we have seen that the ICT evolution has paved the way for streamlining and augmenting the goal of empowering rural population through local bodies. Our proper use of ICT needs to be followed by consent monitoring to achieve the goals of e-governance in the local level. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, all presentations are over. And so, nice. In fact, actually time is too short. Because sometimes I feel also hesitant to stop the presenters, but keeping in view of the time, especially that shortage of time. So I thought that it's better rather to stop somewhere, otherwise it will continue, because in 1 week program, this is the problem, because you cannot do many things, and these are actually in fact ambitious programs. Ambitious programs in the sense that many things can be done, and especially this rural and urban, because I think perhaps we are well ahead of time. Of course, 2 of them, they were absent, but otherwise most of them, they had to finish within this time frame. They are, but in fact, the whole problem, especially this rural and urban governance, the problem actually is this 93rd and 94th, 73rd and 74th amendment. That was in fact the watershed, no doubt, in the things. And I used to say that these 2 amendments, they had democratized the corruption. They have democratized the corruption. So previously, you must have seen these babus only, they were corrupt, because whatever money comes to these panchayats, these officers and officials, they eat away most of the amount. So that's why I always argue that in case supposing corruption is the reality, so why it will be confined only to few babus? Let there be democratization, so that all these, starting from sarpanch, panchayat, that ward members, or even this gram pradhan, so all these people also, let them take their pies. So that is how I will. But nevertheless, these 2 amendments, they have galvanized this panchayat raj system, especially local populace. They are empowered, and yes, there, because see, I have seen, I've got especially this thesis, PhD thesis, from almost different parts of the country, from different states I have got, and everywhere I have seen that there is the allegation that especially these women representatives, they are virtually proxy. There are some proxy people, generally their relatives, their husbands, their father, their brothers, they used to manage the panchayats instead of those women represent. But in spite of all these lacunas and limitations, I find that this is the best solution. If we want to empower our people, then this rural and urban local self-government, they are the answer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now I think over to the organizers.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence in this session. Now, may I request Bhaskar Kodi, sir, to offer vote of thanks and to conclude the session.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dipendas, for giving me the chance to offer vote of thanks to all the participants and our resource person. The session is Group C, and topic is local governance, rural and urban. Chairperson is our very honorable Professor R.K. Satapathy, sir. Our sincere thanks and gratitude to Satapathy, sir. You listened all the participants' deliberation very closely, and you did a very remarkable response with analytical analysis of your in this field. So thank you very much, sir. I thank all the participants for your nice presentation. Though wanted to Shakti Maya Mailevi Devi is not present here, representing Tesco University, but all the participants did their best in this session. And thank you each and every participant to make the session a fruitful one. I again congratulate and my best wishes from the organizing team, Honorable Professor Dr. Satapathy sir, for your continuous support and your guidance to fulfill this program and a successful one. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now over to you, Dr. Dipendas.